I've finally made the upgrade from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. There's no better way than to celebrate that with this game. This is Dead Space, the remake. Don't go away. 99% of my love for the Dead Space series goes directly into Dead Space 2. I think of Dead Space 2 as one of my top 20 games of all time, and I've played it multiple times, while Dead Space 1 I've played once. Thanks to the PlayStation trophies, a quick scroll down tells me I played it in 2015. So while I have played Dead Space before, for the sake of this review, I'm not even going to make comparisons of what it did right or wrong, because I can't sit here and tell you 99% accuracy of how Dead Space 1 went. And for gameplay slash story here, the story is actually good enough that I'm surprised no one has hopped on to make a movie version of Dead Space. I think it would do really well. You're on the ship called the Ishimura. You play as Isaac Clarke, who is an engineer, and if that's not clear enough, it will be, because the gameplay pattern is you fixing the entire ship the whole game. Soon to find out there's aliens that kill you and shit goes crazy. And that's basically the whole story. You're trying to escape this ship now. And while it has become a bit of a meme of engine builder simulator, because it's basically this shut down, go fix it, this shut down, go fix it, we can't escape it, go fix it, we can't escape it.
Isaac, this damage report says there's a broken cargo lift just beyond the hangar doors. I'll open them now.
It makes sense, because the ship really is falling apart here. You're also looking for Isaac's wife, Nicole. And whatever question marks you might have had is usually filled in either audio logs or story logs. There's also text logs, but no one really reads those.
What's that? A recording? Huh. Must be the marker they dug up.
So it is the same. That marker. That's the symbol of the Church of Unitarians.
And the thing about Dead Space, the tagline I stick to it is isolation. It's not hard to draw the line from isolation to space. They go hand in hand, it seems. But all the things that add up just make you, the main character, Isaac Clarke, seem more isolated. There's basically zero interaction with other people. Although you are talking a lot, it's always over voice comms or via the Skype Discord thing that pops up. It is basically just you for the majority of the time. And I like that. It adds to the atmosphere of this being a horror game. It really makes you feel like you are alone on the ship. Well, not alone. There are things here trying to kill you. He's alive. That's a total headshot. But you generally have the upper hand in fighting back against these things, mostly because you have a pretty sick array of weapons here. These weapons just feel right. The gameplay loop feels really, really fluid, smooth. My MEDKIT! No! And a lot of these weapons are great thanks to the sound effects behind them, but I mean, you gotta love, I mean, personally, I love the pulse rifle and plasma gun was my go-to standard weapon. There's my personal favorite, which was the contact beam. It's basically just charge it up and let an explosion go up close. I love this weapon. They want the juice. They can come get it. First guy drops down, dies immediately. Sup, buddy? And some weapons you can use in tandem. My favorite way to do this was there's two weapons called the Ripper and there's one called the Flamethrower. Now an upgrade to the Flamethrower lets you shoot out a wall of fire. Pretty good at having a good defense system here. And the Ripper is basically a spinning saw blade that you can hold in front of you 5 feet out. So put the wall up, put a saw blade out, easy. You also have the line gun, and something was off with the line gun. In Dead Space 2, line gun was my jam. I found the line gun here in Dead Space Remake, and it was other than the force gun, it was my least used weapon. Now for gameplay, I've already teased, it's basically you fixing things. Once you fix something, you get a call in, oh, something else is broken, go fix it, Clarky, please. And you do this for like 90% of the game. Of course, your environments always change up, and there are some gameplay elements that sort of spice up the pacing here. You have zero gravity areas, which lets you float around, and it's just fun to float around, solve a puzzle or two, shoot a few enemies in zero gravity. But you also have like off-the-wall things that seem out of place, but it fits so well. You have this target practice shooting area where you start the target practice. If you reach a certain score, you unlock the reward lockers. And another equivalent of that was like this, I don't know what to call it, the basketball area. You shoot the ball into the ring, gain some points for that. Of course, enemies spawn during both of these, so it's even more hectic. What the? I don't have any. And although it's a pretty simple system here, I want to mention the store/upgrade system. There are these things called nodes. You basically plug these into this upgrade tree, and it's pretty simple, but simple almost always works for upgrade systems. But if you don't really explore this ship at all, and you don't really care about exploring those extra areas, you are missing out on a lot.
Clearance confirmed.
Diamond? Did that just say diamond semiconductor? What the? Hey. Oh, that's a note. And backtracking is a thing here. For the story part of it, I don't care because there's a thing that guides you the whole way. But there's a part in the game where you need a master unlock to unlock these like secret supply rooms. Super tempting. I went and did it. I got all the rig suits to like mold together a master unlock system. But then there is no like locator on your map to guide you there. But it does have the symbol. So what this means is you have to scan through every area in the game and every floor, find a master unlock supply area, and then try to backtrack your way on the map so you know the route you want to take, which you're going to end up opening the map every 15 seconds anyways. This could have easily been fixed if you could have just like clicked the waypoint down on a master supply area and then just easily followed that like orange line like you do for the story missions and side missions. Or just have the map pop up on Isaac's right side, just like the video logs do. Presentation. Something I always say on my channel, music is the most underrated part of gaming. For horror games, you can't really put in like music. It wouldn't seem right. You can do subtle ambient soundtracks, or when you're fighting there can be like sharp, jagged type soundtracks, and that's what this has here. But while you do have basically no soundtracks while walking around the Ishimura, it isn't like there's an absence of noise. That would be bad. No. EA Motive went beast mode with the sound effects design here. There's so much ambient noise from this ship. Whether it's the PA announcer announcing things. Holy shit. The ship just sounds like it's gonna crumble at any moment. You're constantly hearing things through the walls, through the vents, sometimes events like popping off. Listen, some dude is snarling up in this place. But music does wiggle its way into Dead Space 1 Remake, particularly after you find a weapon. Sounds kind of cool. Dead Space just has those like off the box, off the wall, crazy ideas that I love. Having the HP bar be on the spine of the rig suit, perfect. It's so much better to have something like that than to have something in the top left that just says HP 80 out of 100. The rig suit really is your whole HUD bar. The HP's there, the stasis bar is there. Even the menu that pops up, its POV is towards Isaac. So you could literally just be sitting there with the menu and turn the camera. The menu won't turn with you. It's great for ambience. Something to slide in here, the voice actor for Isaac Clarke, Same voice actor from Dead Space 2. A+.
Okay, the warhead's clear.
Hammond, this doesn't add up. If the Valor was just on patrol, why bring a nuke? And if they had a target, what's out here except us?
Yeah, I know. I'm downloading a munitions report.
So overall impact, my overall opinion, this was a very good, fun, streamlined game. Something that I didn't know about until I actually looked it up. EA Motive used what they call the Intensity Director. The Intensity Director is a way for us to control the stress level for the player. It's a content organization, spawning, and pacing control system. Depending on how we count things, the system has more than 1,200 unique events. Elements like audio, lighting changes, fog or steam, enemy spawns, all that combined together in layers to create encounters that feel handmade situations. They later go on to say that everyone's experience in Dead Space Remake is unique, and that's true. It reminds me of the hidden difficulty in Resident Evil 4 that people don't really know about. The more enemies will come at you with more health, and trust me, I've noticed this. And in Dead Space Remake, the Intensity Director system works so well. Everything is randomized. You could walk into a room and 2 guys could spawn out of the top and left vent. The lights could go out and steam could pop in. Or if you're maybe struggling, the lights stay on and only 1 guy pops out of the bottom vent. This helps with the horror element so much because if you plan for jump scares, generally if you're even a small horror fan, you can recognize and get into the developer's head, there's probably going to be a jump scare in 3, 2. But if your system of jump scares and enemy spawns is pretty randomized, there's no telling what could happen. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say on Dead Space Remake. I could point out some very tiny things, like I wish there was more than 1 suit. Like there's only 1 suit upgrade, and it's super linear on your upgrades, and it really doesn't do that much. I wish there could have been suits like less item slots, but you gain 20% speed while running or something cool, or just have the exact opposite. You gain a lot of inventory slots and say 40% armor, something like pretty substantial, but you're 30% slower. That's something that I could have really liked here, but in the grand scheme of things, there's like what? I had to think pretty deep for a complaint here in Dead Space Remake. And so for all those reasons listed, 9 years later from playing the original, the remake, 8.9 out of 10. So that's it. Dead Space Remake is done. Dead Space 2 Remake, please. When it's done well like this, I'm almost sort of surprised we don't see more like space, horror, kind of sci-fi games like this. The only one I could think of is Alien Isolation. That was a pretty good one. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. But that was my first game on PlayStation 5. I'm sure there's lots to come by. But my next game is going to like flip the table from PlayStation 5. I'm going back to Nintendo 64 to continue Army Men Soldiers Heroes 2, a game I've never played before. This might break the record for longest sequel. I played the original probably what? Very early 2000s to 2024. Army Men Soldiers Heroes 2. It took me 20 plus years to do the sequel. This should be fun. But for now, I'm your host, Sailor Player Entertainment. Hope you enjoyed this review. Peace out. Okay.
Warning. Thermodynamic purifiers malfunctioning. Stand clear of filtration tubes.
What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel and I'll put half that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.